Well, 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 what a day it has been for those who believe in the potential for justice in America. Welcome, dear friends. Rob Schmitt is out today, and I'm in, your guest host, Sebastian Gorka. Don't miss my Sunday shows here on Newsmax, the Gorka Reality Check. Well, what happened in Wilmington, Delaware today? Hunter Biden thought he was going to get his sweetheart deal executed by the local judge, meaning no felony rap sheet, and he gets a little tap on the wrist and maybe a fine for what? More than $1 million of unpaid taxes, and then lying on a federal gun purchase background check. You know the background checks that Democrats love so much? Well, he lied about being a drug addict. That is an automatic felony and prison time, but he was going to get a diversionary program, whatever that is. The judge said no. Why? Well, if you follow politics as assiduously as most of our viewers do, you'll know that the left and the Biden cartel have been playing a very sneaky game. The DOJ, even Attorney General Merrick, when asked about Hunter Biden, has said in Congress, sorry, can't talk about that because it's an ongoing investigation. Ongoing investigation? Well, the judge, a lovely lady, the Honorable Marianne Noreika, said, but you're sitting in front of me with a plea deal. You can't have a plea deal from the DOJ if you're still being investigated, so I don't buy it. Go back to square one. Beyond that, I have to say thank you to the insider. I was on radio as this was happening, as the plea deal was thrown out. I'll just call him Tim. Tim sent me instantaneously the court document that Hunter Biden, you've got his signature there, had to sign, as did the judge. Oh, now we can verify, that laptop receipt that Hunter signed. We've got your signature here, Hunter. There were certain conditions put upon the president's son for his release today, and we've got a little graphic of them. I read these out on radio today, and they're rather superb. So what do we have here? We have condition number 1. Hunter Biden has to seek gainful employ. He has to stay employed. I guess he has to find another no-show job like the Burisma one. Secondly, there were boxes you could tick. The judge could say, don't drink too much alcohol or don't drink any at all. Which one did the judge tick? Not allowed to drink any alcohol at all. And then he's got to submit to drug testing. Ooh dear. I guess it can't be that bag in the White House that belonged to Hunter Biden. Let's not talk about that. And then lastly, kind of ironic if you think about the sweetheart deal he was getting, he can't possess a gun or other deadly weapon, which is ironic given the fact that he was guarded head to foot by armed officers, armed agents of the Secret Service today. Could you imagine being one of the Secret Service agents with a badge, with a gun, with a limo and everything, and you're having to look after this reprobate? Let's discuss with our first panel today whether there is a chance for justice, and could this be the beginning of the end for the Biden cartel? A man who was former U.S. Attorney for the District of Washington, D.C., for the District of Columbia, my good friend, Joe DiGenova, and also senior advisor to my former boss, President Trump, none other than Jason Miller. Gentlemen, welcome to Rob Schmitt tonight.
Good to be with you.
Good to be with you.
Right, Joe, let's start with you. I got to ask you, in your decades-long experience in the law as a prosecutor, standing in a court, have you ever seen the likes of today where a judge says, hang on a second, you've got a plea deal, but you're still under investigation? Get out of my court.
What you saw today was the epitome of incompetence and political corruption by a United States Attorney, David Weiss, with the consent of the Attorney General of the United States, but not with the consent of a sitting federal judge who saw what was happening before her. What happened in this case is very simple. David Weiss, with a wink and a nod, told Hunter Biden's lawyers, look, we're not going to say in here that we're giving you a free pass. but I'm going to give you one under the table. Just don't worry about it. But when they got into court and the judge asked a direct question, are you pursuing the investigation, Mr. Weiss? He had to say yes. And the attorney from Latham and Watkins, the big highfalutin law firm that's being paid millions of dollars to represent Hunter, was asked, do you think there's no more prosecution? And they said yes. And she said, it can't be both. This deal is null and void. What you saw today was political corruption run rampant in a federal courtroom. This is so, I'm born and raised in Wilmington, Delaware. I was embarrassed for the city, the state, and for that courthouse.
Jason, Joe mentioned Latham and Watkins, this high-end lawyers firm that's representing Hunter Biden. You know how dirty politics is in D.C. You get what the left does. But the idea that they had one of their people yesterday ring up the clerk of the court and pretend to be a staffer on the GOP committee in Congress and say, you know that bundle of evidence in this case, we want it sealed. We want it. We don't want it read in court tomorrow. Can you just get rid of it? And she's caught red-handed. Is there nothing the Democrats won't do to protect this cartel?
No, not at all. They will do anything, lie, cheat, and steal, anything to try to win or to protect President Biden or anyone in his family. Look, Seb, Joe had it exactly right. What we saw play out in the courtroom today was the double standard of justice that exists in the United States. In fact, the great John McLaughlin has new polling out today that shows that 57% of Americans believe that there's a double standard with the way that Hunter and his family is treated, as opposed to, say, President Trump or people who oppose Joe Biden. That's really the problem here. And it was on display today. Good for this judge for standing up, putting her foot down and saying, whoa, whoa, this just does not look right. Because what Hunter and what I think even the prosecutors, what these guys want to do is kick the can down the road, maybe have Hunter plead out to something that's minor, insignificant, and then make all the FARA and the money laundering and everything else just go away.
Yeah, look, let's just say thank you for this judge. We found at least one honest judge in America. Jason, let's stay on this issue of polling. I don't want to make a joke of it, but it seems that, yeah, there's double standards on the left. If you're a Biden, if you're a Clinton, you get away literally with whatever you want. With the president, he's potentially under another indictment coming from Jack Smith. But every time he gets indicted, whether it's Alvin Bragg in Manhattan, whether it's in Miami with the feds, his popularity seems to be increasing. I mean, we're seeing Ron DeSantis suffer. Vivek is climbing to second place. Does this also mean that American people see through what this administration is doing to my former boss and your current boss?
They're really doing. In fact, two of the numbers, Seb, that I would share with you is 56% of Americans, according to this most recent McLaughlin poll, believe that political bias had something to do with the recent political attacks against President Trump and what we're seeing from Jack Smith. And listen to this staggering number. Already, 69% of Americans know that President Trump was served with a target letter because they're trying to play this out in the media. They're trying to weaponize the judicial system. And so Americans know what's going on here. I think one of the key things is if we do see something come from Jack Smith, and who knows when that's going to be, I don't expect President Trump's numbers to change much. If anything, I think they go up like they did after Bragg or even after the second indictment because it's already baked in. Everyone sees what's going on and they get it.
Joe, I've only got 30 seconds left. What's your expectation? Will they redo the deal and then eventually he just walks away with a slap on the wrist? Given your inestimable experience, what's your prediction?
A slap on the wrist is going to be very difficult after that charade that went on today in Wilmington, Delaware. I think they're stuck. David Weiss made a deal with the devil, and the devil caught up with him today and bit him in the fanny. This is going to be very, very difficult for them to unwind. There has to be a real plea bargain, and there has to be a continuing investigation. You can't have both, by the way. It's either you got to go investigate all of this. And remember, they didn't want to investigate anything that got near Joe Biden. And the judge knows that, and she wants no part of it.
All right, let's pray for that judge. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Joe.